So welcome everybody. Appreciate you tuning in for this much needed discussion. My name is Brian Webster, Senior Province Vice Hallmark or Regional Vice President at Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I'm here with three of my fraternity brothers, three leaders and game changers in the community. I'll let each of them introduce themselves. I'll start with the host. Host is where we're at.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Waverly Willis, affectionately known as America's favorite barber, Big Wave, the boss. I'm the owner of Ohio's largest minority-owned barbershop chain, Irving Cuts Barbershop, which we're at my 6014 Lorraine Avenue location. And I'm always here for my community and my brothers. Nice to meet everyone. Pass the mic.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Derek Funderburg, and I'm an immediate past president of Cleveland Alumni Chapter. And I'm just here as a pleasure, and it's just good to be with my brothers. And I'm just happy to be here.
Last but not least.
What's up, everybody? Cam Anderson, Alpha Omega. I am the current keeper of records of the Cleveland Alumni Chapter. Just happy to be here. Looking forward to what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so I'll set the stage and then we'll get into it. I think more of these conversations. So naturally, we have the Are You Okay? It's an up initiative, just uplifting each other, really just checking on each other, supporting each other, really making sure everybody's okay. Because we often say, you really, yeah, okay, yeah. Right. Often talk to each other, so kind of felt, and I felt like, we need to be more. Figured this could be a jump off, this could be the start of it, just some check-in conversations that we can use to make sure we're okay. And the first question I'm going to ask, anybody can start, but when somebody asks you literally like, how are you good, are you okay, do you automatically respond like, yeah, I'm good? Because that's what you're supposed to say? Like, is that how we're programmed? African American black men? Like, what? Anybody?
I think that's definitely how we're programmed as people, not even as black men. It's just normal to say, yeah, I'm good and keep it moving. I'm glad that you wanted to have this conversation because I've been having them at the barbershop as well. And being a leader myself, depending on who asks me, most of the time I say I'm good and keep it moving. But if somebody I know that genuinely care, and they'll spend a little time with me, then I'll tell them what I'm going through, and I'll expect them to tell me the same because we got to check in more with each other. I'm in recovery, and they say a problem shared is better than half. So if you let me talk to you about it, that might lighten my heart a little bit.
I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it too. I look at it as from the perspective of when we ask somebody, like, how are they doing? Are we really asking them, like, and expecting them to tell us how they're doing? Or are we just saying it just because, that's normal?
Are we ready for the truth?
Right, yeah. So it's like, I know when somebody asks me, I'm thinking from the same perspective. Like, they ask me how I'm doing, I just say good because pretty sure it's a large chance they just ask it and they don't really expect and be like, oh, yeah, this is how my day is going, blah, blah, blah. So, that's how I look at it.
So hold that right there, Derek. I'm going to just let you start this off. Is it okay for you to not be okay to say that? Like, I guess are we taught that? Are we brought up that way? Like, can you say you're not okay? Like, is that not the manly thing to do?
Well, to your point, that is how we've been brought up. I know I was raised to really not show my emotions, not show that level of vulnerability, and I've grown up that way. Growing up, it was looked at as you are being weak if you're expressing your emotions. But as I've gotten older and had an opportunity to really go through some things in my life where I needed to talk to somebody, and to Brother Whaley's point, when you get an opportunity to truly get it off your chest and off your shoulders, it does take a weight off you. You never know what a person's walking around and what they got going on to it. But I'm still that way. People ask me how I'm doing. I'm good. I'm a man. I'm grown. I'm gonna handle it. Whatever it is, I'm gonna take care of it.
Because it was interesting. And Cam, you said that. People do that work all the time wherever you go. They feel like, well, if how was it? Was you really care?
Right.
Right.
Like, how's that?
And I think that's a cultural issue.
True.
Like we just all, I mean, we all say the same thing, and it's probably common.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like it makes you think. Besides conversations like this, what are you going to do about it? You know, we talk about therapy. You know, it's needed. We need outlet, whether it's working out, you know, just hanging out, traveling. People do different things to, I guess, to get their minds off of it as their own therapy. But it's always frowned upon. You know, like or say therapy. You know, I ain't going to tell nobody my problems. Like, you know, how is it going to help me? And I guess since we're talking about being vulnerable, if you're open to share, you know, you can. But if not, it's cool too. And since you got the mic over there, you ever thought about therapy or tried therapy, or would you consider it?
I mean, I think about it, but I mean, you kind of hit it on the nose already. It's just getting past that, like, all right, I'm really about to sit here and tell, like, what I'm going through to somebody I don't even know. So it's just like,
You don't trust them.
I mean, it's not a trust thing. It's just like, I feel like I wouldn't open up as much to somebody I don't know opposed to, like, a friend that I talk to all the time or, like, my parents or something. But I mean, I know it's needed. I know people who go through therapy, and I've seen it help them. But it's just one of those things. Like I don't know. I just feel like I'm just not to the point where I need like to go to therapy like that bad right now.
I want to answer that. For myself, it was it's sometimes you don't even recognize that you need the help. You know, and for most of us, and I'm sure we all know, none of us really know what depression is, or if we've been in it, we've probably been in it 30 times before, and just this one time was probably worse than any other time. I know for me, the loss of my mother took me to a whole nother place where I've never been in my life, where I woke up one day and said, I need some help. I need to talk to somebody, because I was doing things that what my character, and I was going back towards my vices to try and please me for that day, to make it through that day. And when I finally recognized that I had ruined a relationship, you know, moving in a way that I knew I shouldn't have been moving, and just understanding, then, you know, like I say, I woke up one day like, man, I'm depressed. I can't even get out the bed. I ain't taking care of myself right. I'm trying to do this. But when you finally recognize it, then you got to get over the hurdle of what Cam just said. You got to get over the hurdle of really saying, I need help, first of all. Secondly, I'm getting ready to go over here and tell this person my deep, dark secret, you know, and hope they don't judge me, because that's one thing we don't want to get judged. And that's also when you have your relationship with whatever person is in your life, your wife, your girlfriend, whoever it be. It's sometimes hard to tell them because you don't want that used against you in a moment of maybe anger or something. You know what I mean? So you battle that as a man. At the end of the day, it's all about being a man, a grown man, being strong, always holding up that wall, always being that leader, the tough guy when you need to be. But for me, I was in a very dark place. I needed help, and luckily I reached out to the right people, and they were open and really pointed me in the right direction.
And then Eric, I'm gonna come to you. Wait, I coach you that Eric, but wait, I'm gonna come to you. But you something in common. You know, also my father knew was something that, like, you know, you don't know, a place you never want to be, and you don't know how to get out. You know what I'm saying? They call it crash out. They call it crash out. That's the term, right? You crash out and you do things that aren't you because you don't know how to. You're trying to cope.
That's all you're trying to do.
You're trying to get through and just, you only think of each day, how can I get through it?
Through that moment.
Yeah, and then, you know, Waverly, I know, you have a heck of a story, and where you've been, and I'm not asking you to share that, if you're open to it if you want, but, like, what helped you, like, when you flipped the switch or whatever made your change, like, what helped, what are some things that, you know, maybe if somebody is out there listening, like, you recommend or just share from your story that can help somebody and get somebody maybe.
But before I do that, I want to speak to the question of have we been in therapy? Have we tried therapy? And I want to speak to what Cam said. So yes, I'm currently in therapy, and I did therapy because it's always a clash with the generation. You know, the older guys think something about the young. One thing I have learned from the younger generation is self-care. You know, and since we've been having these type of conversations in the barbershop, mental health has really made it's a real thing now. So I am in therapy. But to what you guys said, I sought out the person that don't know me, you know what I'm saying? And it's easy for me to go dump on this little white chick and my therapist is a little white girl, and I don't care what she think about it. You know what I'm saying? But she helps me work through a lot of different stuff. So because I'm thinking, you know, and I think it's hard for me to open up to my loved ones. You know what I'm saying? But I don't care if this girl judges me or not. And she gives me a good insight, good perspective on. You know, I think it brought my wife and I, you know, closer. So that's just my perspective. And I mean, it's important to me, you know, regardless of your religious affiliation, if you have one, that you believe in a higher power. That's what brought me through my dark days. Out on the streets, but, you know, I know that I came from a long line of praying people. Prayer works, not trying to go to church with y'all.
Oh no, amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And I think too. You talked about your wife. We talked about family. We all got family. You know, kids, things happen in our lives. Like I think a lot of times people, you know, may be selfish because they are trying to get through. They don't think about themselves, but we don't think about how the mental health of ourselves affects our positive love. Yeah. You talk about it. Therapy helps you and your wife. We don't want to talk to our loved ones. It's like, I guess, through their dark times or different experiences any of you have had, anybody can share. But have you seen the toll it has taken on a loved one? And was there things that you were doing, things that you decided, hey, I need to fix this? Or what brought about the change, or how did you notice? We always talk about communication, being open and transparent and honesty. So when we build up this share, we build up this wall. Like how do we break it down? So I mean, if you want to touch on that, Derek, because I'm deal with it. How would you do?
And for me, it wasn't when I was going through my situation. It wasn't a physical abuse; it was mental. That I was giving out the mental abuse because I was going through my changes and I was lashing out at a person, you know, that was closest to me at the time, and you don't understand how powerful words are. And some things we say, once they come out your mouth, you can't bring them back. And you don't know how those words are affecting a person. And you're saying, oh, I'm not an abusive person, I'm not this, but your words are abusive. You know, whether you're talking down to a person, talking at a person. And you know, for one thing I had to do for myself was to prepare myself for the next step of my life after the situation I was in with, you know, being in a deep depression, was to, one, I have to thank one of my fraternity brothers, Brother Eric Howard, who lived around the corner. I used to walk to his house from my house and just sit down and chop it up with him. We have a couple brews, kick it, hang out. And at that time, he was just like, man, you know, come on, frat needs you. You need to frat. And that's one thing, and that's a whole nother conversation about the bond itself. But I also had to look myself in the mirror when the Lord dropped my wife in my lap, and I had to prepare myself to be able to receive her. You know, I had to look myself in the mirror and be able to listen to her. And luckily, she's a strong woman and was able to say the things that I needed to hear. You know, the things that how I was projecting when I met her. And she basically said, hey, listen, I'm not, if you're going to act like this, then I'll go ahead and move on. You know, and at the time, I had to say, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. I need to give me, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Let me get myself together. Give me a minute. And it's been the best thing ever. And as we talk about it, you know, in any relationship that you have, the foundation of any relationship, us as brothers, is trust, right? And if you have that trust, then the communication is easy, right? It's when you don't have trust, you can't communicate. But long story short, yes, that's been the best thing that ever happened to me right now in my life. Right now is the wife that I currently have, and being able to be open, because I've never had a person that I can truly walk in and say what's on my mind right now, talk about it, keep it moving, right? With no judgment. So that's where I'm at.
I got another question for you.
Yeah, just real briefly, same thing with my wife, and, she was close to my saying, right? There's only a few people on the planet that really know you. You know what I'm saying? It's only a few people that can call you like, come on, bro, that ain't really you. And so you need those people. I was just telling my grandson, I got something to make you mad. I'm not your yes man. You know what I'm saying? I love you, and I just want you to life. And the people that love you and really care about you are not always going to tell you what you want to do. You got to keep those type of folk in your life.
Shout out to my saying. He's that guy.
You can touch on it, but I want to do a conversation to dealing with, mental health stress, things that may affect you, your family,
Right.
Whatever may be lashed out, we found a partner that we communicate with. Now, adding being a leader in Kappa, in the organization, in the chapter, three of us are from the same undergraduate. Italy, from Yamaha, but we all from, Cleveland State Alpha.
Yeah, I'm from the same hood, right?
So, you leader in that, which we've all been, and Alpha Omega, now transitioning, alumni chapter leader. How do you deal with the stresses? Because, it's a volunteer organization, but it's like a job.
Right.
It's in a leadership position.
It is.
So how do you deal with that on top of life, on top of, we were in grad school, undergrad. How do you handle all that? Because that's an extra stress.
Yeah.
And maybe a toll on your mental health that you really, don't have to have. So how do you deal with all that? And I know it's similar for you, with all the businesses and everything you do, but you don't have to do all this. So how do you deal with that, and how do you get through?
I'll just bring it, just give background. I came into college, I didn't know a thing about Greek life. I didn't know anything. And next thing you know, I joined. And a month after I joined, vice pro-market of the chapter, and it's like vice president, right? So I got thrown in there. So it was I kind of had to learn how to lead, straight out the gate. So, undergrad, it has its moments where it's tough because you gotta plan all these things, gotta listen to y'all bugging us all the time, because like you said, we three of us are members of the Alpha Omega chapter, and it's we hold ourselves to a certain standard. So it's just things that other undergraduates might have gotten away with slacking, y'all wasn't about to let us go through that. So that added to it where it's dang, shoot, one of my sayings, he not going through this, but it's why am I getting talked to all the time about all this stuff? But then came in a Cleveland alumni right afterwards, kind of similar thing. I took the back seat for a little bit, but got right on the board. Exactly. Yeah. See, hey, but did what I had to do to get in the position I am to lead. But I would say what gets me through that. People like y'all, people that's not going to let me fall back on it. Because it's a bunch of times where it's dude, I had plans this Friday, but I got to go to this chapter meeting, or we got this to plan. And like you said, it's voluntary. It's not a job. Don't get paid for none of it. I don't get paid for nothing. You don't get paid money. There's no monetary compensation. But I think just people around me keep me on my toes. My line brothers, just family in general. They're like, Cam, you've been doing your thing. So it's I wouldn't want to let them down. So I think just the people outside and just the motivation from them, I feel that's what keeps me going. And it's I'm just grateful to be in a position to I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm grateful to be in a position to have that type of stress. Like,
And you said something that I don't know if y'all caught, but I caught it. So we talked about mental health. Right. We talked about what we're dealing with. Right? And we just talked about this extra stress that you have, which affects your mental health. And we said, you know, we may not talk to family and we don't have to be stressed. And then now that we're in the same organization, but I can talk to y'all and I can talk to family to get through the extra added stress to my mental health. Yeah. I just thought that was very interesting. Not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but that's very interesting that we all talk about, man, life stuff, but we talk about Kappa and leadership. Oh, I can talk to everybody about this, even though it affects our mental health. It changes things, but it changes our thinking. Yeah. And I feel like it changes our mood, our emotions. And I'm not saying everybody has to be in an organization or fraternity, and you know, to feel that. We're talking about trust and support, which is something that organizations gain. I think I'm not gonna go into too much detail because in future we'll have some future conversations with all fraternities. But you know, fraternities and things in America, a lot of things are under attack. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of misconception about fraternities, sororities, organizations. You know, organizations that are for everybody. So you talk about leadership in Kappa, Derek. I know you're leader in Kappa, me as well. And we all do things in the community. Now, Wade, I know you've done things and lead organizations, so you deal with a lot of leadership, dealing with not just the fraternity, with all people, women included, older, younger. Sometimes kids talk about haircuts, things like that. So as a leader in that, and I'm not saying it's worse or less stress or more, even whatever it may be, it's still added on to your plate that absolutely have to have. So how do you maintain? How do you get through? And just still be you. Show up and hey, I'm cool. I'm fake. Right.
Well, it's not easy. Time management is a learned skill that was, I had to learn that the hard way and mess up a lot of different stuff. But to me, after I got into treatment, and I made a promise to God many years ago, man, that God was to remove the thirst for the drugs and alcohol, that my life would be a testimony of serving, So that's why I do so much that I do, in recovery. Like I said, our saying is a problem shared is cut in half. And then the stuff that you do when you're going through something, you're supposed to go help somebody. So if I'm struggling with something, I'm supposed to forget about myself and just go help somebody else. And that's called getting outside yourself in the world of recovery. And that's just how I live my life, man. When I'm helping somebody else, kids, a group, a fraternity, I'm just getting outside myself and living off the promise that I made to God, bro. And it's been working. I stay busy, but I love it. I'm blessed with a great wife because she knows when she met me, I'm going. And it's always doing something to improve her. Having that support base. Mm-hmm.
Now, there, of course, so we talked about the different challenges and stresses as leaders for this community. I know you got some big things planned personally, Kappa, and everything that we do. What is the biggest challenge? Let's see what it is, and maybe it leads to the solution. But what's the challenge? Not saying that you figured it out yet. The solution, maybe you have tackled it. What do you think the biggest challenge is as a leader? Period.
Well, to be honest with you, you know what? You can't. Let's take it this way. I'm going to say this. When being a leader, you always have to remember those that are your support base. Okay? So when you talk about time management, that's one thing that you really have to focus on too, to make sure that you are giving your time to those that are your loved ones or your support base, whomever that may be. You always have to do that. But then I can laundry list multiple things in being a leader. Right now, I'm daily responsibility for a facility of 300 to 400 individuals that rely on me to make the direction and make sure that I make sure that they all have jobs every single day. But I would have to say that would be number one, making sure that my support base, my family, is always at the top of the list, right underneath the Lord himself. And after that, being a leader is really understanding and, like you said, stepping outside of yourself. Some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts. I am more of an introvert. Like, I can go to work and not speak to anybody, but I have to. That's my job. But at the same time, you have to find what drives you. What drives me is being able to go in and educate, school, bring people up, teach them the things that I've learned from my life lessons, and help them to progress and be whatever it is that they want to be in life. That's what I get out of leadership right now, is truly understanding how I affect and the shadow or the light that I cast on people. And it's helping me be a better person inside and outside of work, being a leader. And as you talked about it, leading cascades across whatever opportunities you may see in life and that you want to go about, but the same philosophies and the same foundation will carry across. If you're a good person at work, then anything else you should be doing is you should be that same person. So if you're always being your true self, then you just got to pick things that you want to be intentional about, right? So just be yourself at all times, because people can point you out if you're fake and you can't remember what you did yesterday, because if you lie today, you got to tell a lie tomorrow to cover up the last lie you just told, right? And I ain't got time to do all that. So I'm just going to be who I am, be authentic. So if I could really boil it down, be your authentic self, take care of those that support you, and figure out what your passion is and help others.
You talk about cross generations, basically saying keep it up.
Real
Am I
talk?
right with that, young Cam? Is that okay?
Yeah.
And Cam broke away. I guess I'll go back to we learn ourselves daily. So we've had lessons, we've made mistakes. I'm not gonna say regrets, because usually it's just a lesson, something that happened, and you can't go backwards to change it. We're all probably there. How do you know for yourself or any things you've seen? How do you know when you're not okay? Like, mentally, physically we can push through, we can be tired, we can say, okay, I need to rest my body, I'm hurting, this and that. Mentally, how do you know, like, okay, like I'm out, like I know I'm crashing out. I know that this is a problem. Like, how do you know when you need to get right, seek therapy, change something up, do something different? Like, how do you know when, like, say, are you okay? How do you know when you're not okay? Like, you like, okay, something up.
I mean, for me personally, like, I'm still working on not doing this, but if I'm like kind of reached my limit to where I just feel like I got too much stuff going on and I just feel overwhelmed, I just shut down completely. Like, you probably won't hear from me, or like I'm gonna be slow to respond to text or phone calls. But that's just because it's like it's to a point where I'm so overwhelmed. I feel like that's the only thing I can talk about. So it's like, if somebody want to have a normal conversation, I feel like somehow, some way, I'm gonna bring what I got going on in that conversation. And some people don't have like the mental strength to deal with that right now. So it's like, even though I got my stuff going on, that don't mean like everybody else should be hearing what I'm going through, because they might be going through their own stuff. So, but yeah, me shutting down and stuff. But I mean, I've got better at it though. But when I feel myself doing that, like people who I talk to on a daily, weekly basis, I'm not talking to them anymore. That's when I know, like, okay, yeah, I kind of gotta take a look back at what I got going on, because I mean, that's how you lose relationships. You lose that because some people are more forgiving than others, where it's like, all right, I know he got something going on, he going through his stuff, like, I'm gonna give him his space because I know he'll get himself together and come back. But some people, it's like, I mean, if we cool, like, why are you like pushing me out to the side like that? Like, and people can only accept that so many times before they just think like, all right, I don't mean nothing to this person enough to where they push me off to the side all the time. So.
Here's the way I'm gonna let you go next, but since you said people are unforgiving, like I feel like society is very unforgiving. Like,
Yeah.
For example, like we don't have the most money, so I got the phone up here, we got these lights.
Yeah.
social media.
We
get there.
Right. Hey, we made it work. We made it work. Right.
Yeah, so it's been happy with the quality, people looking at us like you see on all these viral things, and that's not really the purpose of it. But society will judge everything you do.
Every
now,
single thing.
What you said, and you just think about all the people that's in limelight, on camera every day, whether it's entertainment, athletes, politicians. I mean, just all the turmoil, and then you throw on top cultural wars, society, like, and you just said, you just gotta shut down. Like, some people they can't do that.
Yeah.
And
got
their
room
lives
to.
are problem. Like, you can't shut down, you can't get away.
Mm-hmm.
People are unforgiving. You can't do that. I can, but you can't. And I just feel like that is the problem. That is so messed up.
That's messed up.
And if we could go even deeper, like in our other chapters, maybe again we talk, we've lost brothers to suicide. And I'm not, I'm gonna just say that. I'm not gonna say names. We know, but we've lost brothers to suicide. And internally, we all have a guilt trip. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I gotta shut down, even when I can't do something that I usually used to do, whether it's a conflict or something else, like you feel guilty. So sometimes I still have those guilty feelings, like look what I have done. Say, and we got this initiative. We started talking. I'm like, these conversations need to happen. I'm like, if I can help, y'all, everybody seem cool. I think you're cool, but it could be something underlying that I don't like know about. You know what I'm saying? So how about we just start doing this, talking regularly, because we may hang out, we may, be somewhere out, hanging out, kicking it, but we ain't really talking about this in public. We ain't going by each other's crib all the time to sit down and say, man, hey, like how you been doing this? We all want to go. We all leaders, and that's to me is where mental health and things become not okay for some people. Not everybody can handle it. A lot of people well or can wear it well. Why they handle it? And people think it's not okay to say something to each other. All y'all gonna say, oh, you weak, or I can't rock with you like that. So here, when me, like I guess if either one of you want to answer, like, how do you know?
Well, I want to comment on what you said, as far as just for an example. I might just fall back and not respond as quickly. Traditionally, the world is going to say, Cam, what's up, man? Instead of saying, Cam, are you okay? You see what I'm saying? Right. Normally, the normal world is going to be like, Cam, you said you was going to call me on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, man. I ain't blah, blah, blah. Instead of attacking Cam, we should go and make sure he's good. Right. As far as when I know things are not okay, and this might sound crazy, but maybe not, because I know you brothers. Man, me and my relationship with God is just, everything goes smoothly, or at least a high 90 percentile of stuff goes very smoothly for me. And only when I start forcing, because I know I'm doing God's work, when I start forcing my agenda and stuff, and when stuff start not going as smoothly, that's when I'm like, okay, let me just let go and let God, like this came together smoothly. And, I got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I deal with, throughout my barbershop, it's like 21 of them. So that's 21 different personalities. I'm getting calls, text messages. He stole my client, blah, blah, blah. And I used to just try to force people or to work with me. But after I know that I've done everything that I can for a situation, and my heart is pure, and God knows that I only want this person or these people to win, like, I can sleep easy at night. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I know when things are not just falling smoothly into place for me, that's when I got to step back and say, well, you know what? This is not going smoothly because I wanted to add this party in. And before I added this party in, everything was falling into place. So, God just really and truly orchestrates my steps, man. And that's how I know.
You sit here, that was humbling. I mean, like that, but it's real, it's honest, and it's I mean, you
And
can't say it no better than.
I mean, but and to both of your points, you know, for me, I grew up in a church, but I'm not a church goer. I believe in the Lord and all that, but you know, it's people always ask me how I'm doing, and y'all may not pay attention to it. They be like, "Brother Work, what's up? You did?" I'm like, "Man, I'm doing great. Man. I'm doing great.
You do say that.
I'm great because I don't have any complaints. Life is what it is. As long as I wake up every morning, I can go at whatever is coming during the day. But to answer your question, how do I know when I don't feel like I'm doing great? That's when I know I got some problems. And what I mean by that is, you ever have writer's block where you feel like you just can't take that next step to type that sentence? Well, I feel like that where I can't make that next move, or I don't know how to make that next conversation, or I'm just, then I automatically tell myself, okay, let's take a step back, look at what's going on around you, let's reset, and then we get back at it. And it may sound simple, but that's really my philosophy. I take a step back, see what's truly the root cause of my problem, and I hate to start talking like I'm at work, but I see what's the root cause. I do a 5 why and ask myself, why is this happening? Why? Well, if that happened, then why? Then why? Then why? And once you get to the root cause of the problem, you eliminate the problem. It sounds simple, but I have really just gotten to that point now where if you're not going to be in my life to help me move forward my values, or you're coming in my life to cause harm in any kind of way, whether it's physical or mental, I don't care. I don't need you. I don't need you in my life. I really don't. And I don't care. I really don't care because, and you said something very, very correct. At the end of the day, right, wrong, or indifferent, if I know I did everything I could and I can walk away like, you know what, I did everything I could, so I ain't no more I can do. I'm just going. I'm going to move on. That's where I am. I'm really at peace with it. And I do want to say this. We have a brother that is a pastor right now, and I'll say Brother John Twine. I have sat down with that brother before at a time at Providence Council. Right after
Which is our regional meeting.
Yeah, right after our regional meeting. I never told anybody this, and only he and I know this, but during that time we did the holy, our power brunch. Keep it simple. We did power brunch. His words were so overwhelming to me. I asked that brother to come to a side room and just pray on me. Not because I was doing bad, because I'm good. You know, my family health and my son, my kids, I'm good, but I need somebody to talk. I need somebody to pray on me. That's all, man.
That's deep. I mean, and that man,
real talk.
You recognize
I did it.
You took a step back. I mean, that's commitment for real. I mean, that's and I think I identify with everything all y'all said. I know stuff is not okay, but I'm so discipline oriented and gender driven, and that I know. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all know Beyonce crazy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are crazy. I like this routine I have. I'm just so to the routine that I know something's not okay if I'm going 100 miles an hour and I get a tug or something that's not how it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I'm so oriented with trying to be organized and agenda, and I'm not saying I'm trying to be perfect because nobody's perfect. I think I try to make sure, hey man, you this, I try to balance. I feel like I'm just trying to multitask, and sometimes I think I take on too much. And I know that if somebody tugs me or, hey, did you do this? Or, hey, are you still this? Or is this? And I'm like, I need to slow down. Mm-hmm. Let me sit down. Mm-hmm. Let me recheck myself because something's wrong. I'm doing too much. I'm not responding to everything I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm here, but I'm not present. Yeah. And I think that sometimes whether it's my fiance or one of y'all or somebody, close to me, other brothers that'll just say, hey, be like, usually you do this, that, and the other, and it's like that. Man, I need that wake up. I need that support. Yep. I need that tap on the shoulder, like, hey, like get it together, and you feel a little bit, like get it together, and guess what? It's okay. It's okay to do. And I think that again, society and how we brought up and how just we identify around each other, we think it's not. Yeah. I'm fine with, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm fine with things happening and learning from it because not everybody's perfect. That's right. Not everything is always going to be how you plan how it's supposed to be. This ain't how I planned it. This is not how the vision that I have for this conversation, but we making it work and it's needed because for me this is still therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? We all got lives, we have families, we do different things with our jobs, things in the community, work, and sometimes it's cool to just sit. I do too much. I mean, we can sit up and just have a good conversation.
Right.
Eat some snacks, drink water. Ain't gotta be out and about. We in the barbershop, which I want to thank you for.
It's a nice shop.
Do this. It's something we hope we and I know that we probably might have another conversation. I also don't want to drag this out, so I will say as we close, and I will go around. What's one takeaway or one thing that you just need to say when we sign off with a conversation or something that has awakened in your mind or in your heart that you feel like I need to say this, or just a takeaway that's something that you got from other brothers here? I'll start with the youngest in charge as the phone. We are a place of business. I will say that. We at the barbershop. They probably want to cut.
That's real.
They try to get that haircut. And again, we human. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So we just gonna do a quick check. Let's intermission check. Let me just make sure the camera's still working okay.
I was thinking in my head, I'm like, what if this stopped recording?
It's not gonna stop.
Because I ain't even look. I
knew the circle wasn't up. It means the square. That's the stop button that used to be on the. You remember the video cassette thing? You had that back in the day? You push that means stop. So I knew that was working.
I think so.
What's the takeaway that you have as we close out?
Well, like first off, I'm just grateful we had this conversation because I mean, like you said, a lot of people don't even get the opportunity to have these talks with people. But I mean, I think I'll just stick on the fact of just being grateful. Because I mean, that's kind of been a thing. That's what keep me grounded. Like I didn't bring that up. Like when I do go into those moments where like, all right, I feel like I got too much going on or maybe I'm not doing enough. I just sit back, just think about, all right, where am I at right now? Like, it was this, I think it was like TikTok or Instagram. It was a post where they showed a guy in a wheelchair, and then he was looking at somebody riding a bike saying like, oh man, I wish I had that bike. The guy on the bike was looking at somebody driving a car like, oh, I wish I had that car. And then somebody in the car was, I don't know, he was just looking at somebody that was better than him. But little did they know when you flip it around, like they was looking back at them like, dang, I'm just grateful from where I'm at. They looking for something better when the whole time it's people looking at them like, I wish I had what you had. So that's what keep me grounded. Just when I think like you brought up social media, especially in this day and age, you compare yourself. You can't, it's impossible not to. Seeing people my age, they getting rich off of just posting on TikTok and Instagram. And it's like, dang, I got to wake up and go to work. But then I think like, at least I got a job. Like I got a job. Some people don't have that. When I think about, dang, I got to pay these bills. Once again, at least I got a job to be able to pay the bills when people are struggling sometimes. So I just, like I said, I become grounded. I've been getting good at that, just being grateful for where I'm at, who's around me, the opportunities I have, and yeah. So
people always want something, but everything that they may have right now
is exactly, yeah. Like it was something that said like, yeah, like I didn't even realize I'm in the middle of my blessings right now because I'm thinking of the future. But so just being mindful of where you at right now. Yeah, because it's always, you feel like you could always do something better, but it's like this was the better you was thinking about a few years ago. So,
Right.
Hey, I like that.
Talking about social media, you might.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
We're just trying to make it work.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate
It's funny you brought that up. I was going to say that just be thankful for where you are in life. Everybody makes their own progressions. Also, too, it doesn't matter if you look at this panel. It doesn't matter how old you are, or age doesn't matter, because you can learn from any person, right? I was this gentleman's vice president. And me and him talking, we still talk damn near every day. If we ain't texting, we on the phone talking and in a meeting together. And it's been going on for years. But I just say that to say that iron sharpens iron. We say that, but what does that truly mean? You have to understand it and make sure you're surrounding yourselves around brothers that are moving in the same direction that you are, right? Whether that's spiritually, whatever it is that affects you. And the last thing I'm going to say is every person is a leader. It's just that they need to look inside within themselves and figure out what it is, once again, back to the passion that you have. And just follow your passions and do what's best and just try to be the best person that you can be. You don't have to go to church every day. You don't even have to believe in the Lord. But when you wake up every day, be the best person, the best version of you, and just treat others the way that you want to be treated.
How this was, some can say, honestly, is I'm always going to practice what I preach. So we started off by saying our response to how you doing today, which is all right, I'm good, whatever. But then Cam came back like, that's an automatic question. Are you really prepared for the answer? So now I'm still going to continue to speak to people, say how you doing, but I'm gonna double back. Just, are you sure? I genuinely want to know. Are you okay today? You know, I'm gonna make a conscious effort to let people know that I really want to know if you are okay, and if not, what can I do if it's to help you out with whatever situation you're in. So that's what I got out of this. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I want to thank all y'all for being here, having this conversation. Yeah, I got out of this. First off, thank you for hosting. Thank you for I think I got from this that this can be a great outlet, therapeutic. Brothers that may ever see this or hear this, watch it. We want to talk to you too. I want to talk to you. We're not doing this. I'm not doing this. I did it. I'll say that because we could have been viral. We've probably been viral, been in a video that you've seen. Not to like be conceited or arrogant, but whether it's a boat ride or different events, pro shows, anything that you may have seen, it's been done. This is really serve a purpose, and I'm glad we have this national initiative, and that we're kind of getting to it here in the Eastern Province in our region. I just get out of this that this continue part one of many, and that sometimes it's okay not to be okay as long as you have somebody to tell you that. I said to those, maybe battling with something, struggling with something, it's okay to seek therapy. It's okay to get help. And this may not be your outlet. Having a conversation, recording it, talking to people, getting the therapist, that might not be your outlet, but fine, a family member, somebody you trust, something that you can do as an outlet because, we want you here. We want you here around. We want you back to society. Even if it's social media, you can reach out. If you need somebody to talk to, need help, reach out. We'll help. So I just want to thank y'all for being here. Thank you. And I want to end with something you said. I always say, it was a movie. Word is bond, word is all you got. So practice what you preach. As a kid, we said we're going to do something that's good. So that's my challenge to other men who out there. You say you're going to do something good. And if you say you're okay, really be okay. If you're not, it's fine. Talk about it. Like, it does. Reach out. It's okay.